It's time for Recipe of the Day. Traditional Southern tomato gravy. If you've never had this before, heck, if you've never heard of this before, you need to stop what you're doing and make some right now. It is so insanely delicious. It is a gravy like other gravies, so it's like got rich flavor. There's bacon fat in there. It's a thick sauce, but it also has chopped up tomatoes or like canned diced tomatoes in there. So there's little bits of tomato which bring extra umami, but also brightness, acidity, freshness. It is so delicious, served on homemade biscuits or on rye toast. You could have it with your bacon and eggs, or you can even have it with dinner. You know, I make this sometimes if we're doing like kind of a boring dinner. I'm just doing like chicken breasts, rice, broccoli. I will make up some tomato gravy really quickly as a sauce for on the chicken and rice. Dinner is transformed. It is delicious. So this recipe calls for canned diced tomatoes, 1 14-ounce can, but you absolutely can use fresh tomatoes. You'll want about 2 cups of them, and you include any liquid that accumulates from the chopping. So if you get liquid on your cutting board, you want to add that as well. And then you also need to make up for the liquid that is in the canned tomatoes. So you measure your 2 cups of diced tomatoes and any liquid that accumulated. And then you want to add liquid that's going to essentially fill in between the spaces of those chopped tomatoes to make up that 2 cups. You can use tomato juice, tomato sauce diluted with water, tomato paste diluted with water, vegetable stock or chicken stock, or just water. So you want 2 cups of tomatoes in some liquid. If you're using canned whole tomatoes, you can do that. Just squash them up to break them up. I actually like to just take my kitchen shears, clean kitchen scissors, and go into the can and do a chopping motion, lots all over the place, and that kind of cuts them up quite a bit. Or you can use 2 cups of tomato sauce. That will work as well. Okay, so now you know what kind of tomatoes are involved. Let's make tomato gravy. You want to start by getting out a skillet. Now, I know that a cast iron skillet is pretty traditional for this, but I was always told not to use cast iron when I'm using something acidic like tomatoes because it can react with the metal. And so I tend to use a non-stick skillet for this, but whatever you like is fine. You're going to warm 3 tablespoons of bacon fat in that skillet, or you could use butter. Heat that over medium-low heat and then whisk in 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. You want to cook and whisk that until it turns a dark beige or even light brown. We're not going all the way to peanut butter color, but it is a little bit brown, okay? 3 to 4 minutes. Then turn off the heat. Like I always say, it is much easier to make your gravy stay smooth if it's not heating the whole time. So turn off the heat and then slowly drizzle in some stock or broth, chicken or vegetable stock or broth, 1 cup of it. Drizzle it in slowly while stirring the whole time. You really just want to keep that smooth. Then you're going to stir in those tomatoes. 1 14-ounce can of diced tomatoes is what I'm calling for, or 2 cups of any of your alternatives, as well as half a teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Put that back over medium heat and cook, stirring occasionally until the mixture is nice and thick. You really want to be able to see the bottom of the skillet for a moment when you swipe through it. You know what I mean? It's going to take 2 or 3 minutes. Then turn the heat down to low and stir in a 1/4 cup of heavy cream. Stir and cook that for about 30 seconds just to heat it through. Taste it and add more salt and pepper if you'd like. And that is your tomato gravy. Toast up some rye bread, get out some biscuits, and dig in. I will put the link to this recipe in the show notes for this podcast episode, or you can head to cookthestory.com/ROTD and get it there. Everything there is arranged by date, so it's helpful to know that today is July 23rd of 2025. You can also get the link in our Facebook group. I post the recipe of the day link there every day, so you can find what I'm talking about and get inspired about what you can make that day or in the days ahead. That group is at facebook.com/groups/recipeotd. I'm Christine Pittman from cookthestory.com, thecookful.com, the all-new chicken cookbook, and from this podcast, Recipe of the Day. I hope you have a great day. Let's get cooking.